Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, online students?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Okay, good. Well, um, welcome to the second class of this semester. Um, of course, a pretty interesting one to say the least. I've done this for a long time and never had to deal with this situation where the we have to have all students online, but it's definitely safe. We actually have at our center we have almost a 2 feet drift, so they hardly can walk. So with that, I'm gonna just do a quick roll call. Um, Unmute and just say present or whatever it is, so I have an idea. Kyra,
Here.
Naisha,
Here.
Alina,
Here.
Vanessa, Akshay,
Here.
Tyra,
Here.
Aiden,
Here.
Ben, okay. Bailey,
Here.
Elois,
Here.
Connor,
Here.
Elaine,
Here.
Tate,
Here.
Yaya. Okay. All right. Let's see. Now, if you have not received our materials, do a thumbs up, please. If you have not received our materials. Everybody has the materials? Okay, Tate. Okay, one. Anybody else? Okay, excellent. Second, if you don't have the TI-84 plus calculator, do a thumbs up, please. If you don't. Okay, excellent. Um, if you have not done the homework, do a thumbs up. If you have not done the homework. One, because I don't think so you have the material state. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. And you guys are able to hear me clearly, right? Everything good? Okay. All right. Well, um, we are gonna get started today. Um, though it's not an ideal condition, we don't want to lag behind in our plans. Uh, 4 to 5, I'm going to be teaching here. 5 o'clock, Aubrey will uh, do the second hour, and I'll be going to the other session, basically. So everybody should have a math packet. Please open the math packet and page number 4. And we're going to get started with trigonometry. And I'll ask you guys to read through page 4 for 5 minutes. Some things you may not understand, some things you may not understand. That's okay. Page 4, please.
I'm sorry, I'm confused on what we're supposed to be looking at. Is it the New Horizon tutoring, like the
Yeah, math.
handwritten one?
Handwritten one, yes. I'm sorry, I should have clarified
Oh,
that. Page 4.
thank you.
Yeah, please make sure if you're not sure, please ask. Especially this is the first time, so it might happen this way. So just unmute yourself and ask questions. And I expect this to go throughout the semester like this. If you're not sure, ask questions. Especially today, as you guys are all online. All right, we are going to slowly start the trigonometric functions today on page 4 of the math packet. Um, this is an advanced level ACT prep, so things will be a lot more difficult than in the regular level. But one thing doesn't change is to ask questions, okay? Don't hesitate to ask questions, whether you're online, face to face, doesn't matter. And please make sure everybody's muted, but very focused on the whiteboard, okay? We'll get started with the first question in trigonometry. Try this problem. We have a right angle triangle with the angles theta and alpha. Your first question here is find tan alpha times cotangent theta. Try it. And once you're done, this is again a standing instructions in my class. Just make sure to do a thumbs up so that I know you're done, or do the hand raise or whatever it is and put it back so I know who has done and who has not and how much time you're taking approximately, okay? No competition or anything like that, just to get an idea, okay? Find theta, tan alpha times cotangent theta. Go. And if you don't know, no big deal, okay? You're gonna learn everything here. So, all right. I had one student do the thumbs up. Anybody else? Do you need any, does anybody need more time? All right. Now I'm going to explain this, and I want you guys to put your pens down and just listen to this first. Understand the basic fundamentals before you write it down. That's easy to just write it down. So there are 6 trigonometric functions we always study. The first 3 are called the fundamental trigonometric functions: sine, cosine, and tangent. The remaining 3 are what we call the derived trigonometric functions. But before we go there, what does a trigonometric function does? It relates an angle and 2 sides of a right angle triangle. That's all it does. It's a relationship between an angle and the 2 sides. So for example, when I say tangent alpha, which is defined as opposite or adjacent. So this is alpha here. So opposite to this is the side B, and adjacent to the angle alpha is A. So a trigonometric function always gives a ratio of 2 sides. That's all it does. But it has a lot of meaning to it because it also is connecting with the angle. So angle and the ratio of 2 sides. So tan alpha is B or A. Then we have cotangent theta. Now remember, if you know sine, cosine, and tangent, it's easy to know the next 3 because those are the inverses. The secant, the cosecant, the cotangent are the inverses. So for example, to get to cotangent theta, you need to know what is the inverse of cotangent theta, which is tan theta. So again, the angle is important, that's theta here. Tan is defined as opposite A divided by adjacent B. But the cotangent theta is inverse of this. So you flip it. So cotangent theta is B divided by A. You literally flip it. So B divided by A. So it's B squared divided by A squared is the answer. You expect this question in ACT around question number 50. There are 60 questions. The last 20 are difficult. So you expect this to be around question number 50. If you know the functions well, it should take typically 30 seconds to do this. Raise your hands if you've got the answer correct. 1. Okay. Anybody else? 2. See, 2 so far. 3. Okay. Now, do you have any questions? Now, remember, I've been teaching this class for 17 years, 16 years. And I can tell you one thing, to be a successful program, you have to ask questions. And I don't mind repeating, and none of our instructors will mind repeating this. But this is a very important concept in math. Not only it's going to be in ACT, but it's going to help you in your school as well, so when you study trig. Any questions? All right. Same triangle, second question. Find secant square alpha divided by sine theta. Try that. It's okay if you're wrong, it's okay if you don't know. You will learn here.
I'm sorry, could you zoom into the problem, please?
It's find secant square alpha divided by sine theta. Let's see if I can bring this a little bit forward. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, please ask. That's what I want from you guys, is to be interacting with us all the time. One. Two. Three. Four. All right, we're going to go to this problem. Again, when I'm explaining, I want you guys to stop writing and listen up, please. So secant square alpha. So remember, there are three fundamentals: sine, cosine, and tangent. Anything else is a derived trigonometric function. Just like cotangent was, secant is derived. The opposite of secant is cosine alpha. So alpha is here. Cosine is defined as adjacent or hypotenuse. A or hypotenuse. A square, square root of a squared plus b squared. That's your first step. Then second step is secant alpha is inverse of that. Square root of a squared plus b squared divided by a. Then you have to square it. So when you square it, you basically square this term. So when I square this, you square this term. Just like a normal algebraic process, you just square it. So secant square alpha is square root and the square cancels. A squared plus b squared divided by a squared. This is secant square alpha. Let's go to sine theta. Sine theta is here, opposite or hypotenuse. Opposite or hypotenuse. So now we have both the terms. You basically divide each other. So you have a squared plus b squared divided by a squared divided by a divided by square root of a squared plus b squared. So this is what we have so far. We have to simplify this. And there is a simple way to simplify. Remember the shortcut. When you divide fractions, a divided by b divided by c divided by d, a and d gets multiplied, At the top, B and C gets multiplied. This is a shortcut. So we're going to do that shortcut here. These two terms get multiplied. So it'll be a squared plus b squared times square root of a squared plus b squared divided by a squared times a is a cubed. This should be enough, basically. You can further simplify this, but should be enough. I should put this in the parentheses, by the way. How many got this? One, that's two. That's really good. Three. Good. Four. All right, here's what I want basically from you guys. I want all students to repeat this problem. Do it again, please. Eloise, do you have a question? Oh, okay. Repeat this problem, please. Do it again. Go. I want all of you to do this. Repeat step by step the entire problem. Do you have any questions, any steps, anything you're not sure? Please ask. You're here to learn. You cannot do well in ACT if you don't know the basics concepts. So strategies is different, knowing the material is different. So I want to make sure that you guys know the material first. And there's no process of elimination in these problems. You get 5 multiple choices. You can't eliminate anything. You just have to do the entire problem like this. Anybody, any questions? Okay. Question number 3, same triangle still, okay? Find cosecant theta times cotangent theta divided by cos theta. Try this. Find cosecant theta times cotangent theta divided by cosine theta. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Again, it's okay if you don't know this, okay? You will learn here. Okay, let's get to this one here. Again, the biggest mistakes I've seen students make in this type of problems is they don't know the functions. The first step itself is a problem. So you have to know the 6 functions. When I was a student, I memorized this, then I practiced so much that I don't have to even memorize it anymore. I just knew it. So it's up to you how you want to remember this. Memorization, a lot of practice, but you got to know all 6 of them. So cosecant theta is not a regular function, so opposite is sine theta. So sine theta is here opposite or hypotenuse. So you know cosecant theta would be opposite of this. Cotangent theta is opposite of tangent theta. So let's do tangent theta. Opposite or adjacent. Cosine theta, of course, is a standard one. Adjacent, again, the angle reference is important. This is our angle here. Adjacent or hypotenuse. So we got all of them. Now we got to put it in the right order in this particular thing. So cosecant theta is opposite of this. So square root a squared plus b squared divided by a. So we got that one. Times cotangent theta, which is the opposite of this one, b divided by a. Divided by cosine theta, b divided by square root a squared plus b squared. So we have this and we have this. Before you multiply like the one we just discussed, a divided by b divided by c divided by d, try to see if you can eliminate the numerators and the numerators can be simplified. So this b and this b can cancel. That's all you can cancel here. So the top part goes with this one here, and both are square roots. So if you multiply two square roots, it cancels off. You're left with a squared plus b squared. So square root of a squared plus b squared times square root of a squared plus b squared divided by, now these two get multiplied. This is a squared here, and there's one here, a squared. This is your final answer. Either you can, this is good enough, you don't have to further simplify this. So again, the mistakes students do is they don't know the functions. That's the first one. Second is they make mistakes in the simplifications. How many got this answer? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. Excellent. Anybody, any questions? Any doubts, any questions? You gotta ask. This, usually our students don't have problems with this. Usually sometimes they will have questions on this step. So I wanna make sure that I give you enough time to ask questions and know how to simplify things. This is just typical algebraic simplification. Okay? Again, if you change your mind, if you want to ask a question again, please do so. This is not your typical school. This is here, you're here to learn, okay? This is not just some, I don't want to waste your time as well and my time. So I want to make sure that you ask questions, you're here to learn, okay? Moving on to staying on trig. Looks like many of you have the graphing calculators. This one is my 84 plus. The plus CE is better. I want everybody go to the mode. Go to the mode. And go to the third one. And make sure the degree is highlighted. Make sure the degree is highlighted. This should be the default mode when you guys go to the ACT test. Do not ever keep it in radian mode. Everything should be in degrees mode. That's standard, that's safe. With that, we're going to continue with more trig questions. Question number 4. Try this problem. The question here is find x. Find x. This is 26 degrees. This is 280 inches. Find x. All right. If you have an answer, do a thumbs up, please. Just an idea. One. Around 5 to 6 people. Okay. All right. Let's get started again. So, when we use a trigonometric function, the reason we use it, it connects an angle and two sides. That never changes. Never. So you have an angle here, you have these two sides. The question here is, what trigonometric function fits this particular profile? So this is an angle, adjacent side, and a hypotenuse. That's cosine. So your first step, even in ACT, you want to write this. Cosine 26 degrees is adjacent divided by hypotenuse. You still want to write this step so there's a clarity of how you're going to work it out. Some people try to rush through this and make silly mistakes. I wouldn't do this. Now, you've got to solve for x. So multiply x both sides. Oops. Multiply x both sides. So x cosine 26 degrees is equal to 280 inches. Now divide cosine 26 both sides. X is equal to 280 inches divided by cosine 26 degrees. Now, get your calculators. You can do this in the calculator. 280 divided by cosine 26. Answer is 311.5 inches. Of course, you can do a certain process of elimination here because the hypotenuse is the longest side of the triangle, so it has to be more than 280. So you know that. So that's the only way you can eliminate this. So the answer is 311.5. Don't worry about decimals. ACT doesn't care about it. How many got 311.5? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now, I want you to listen to this very carefully. And actually, I would pose this as a question before we go here. And you can unmute and answer. So, this was an ACT. Of course, the answer is 311.5. But the answer they had given in the multiple choices did not have 311.5. What do you think were the answer choices, which was correct? You can unmute and answer.
Did they put in radians?
Nope.
Round it up.
Nope. Again, they don't care about decimals. It is not even like 311.5 or anything like that.
280 over cosine 26.
Good guess. No, but it was a good guess for you, Connor. That's a good one. What do you think they did? And let me tell you, this was a question number 58 in the ACT. So they thought it was difficult. So how did they make it interesting? And many people did not get it correct, even though it's a straightforward problem. Anybody else? It was not 280 divided by cosine 26. It was not 311.5. It was not in feet. It was stayed in inches. So what do you think they did? Anybody else? Okay, let's try this. You know what they did was, They took 280 divided by cosine 26. Now, what is inverse of cosine? Secant. So, 1 divided by cosine 26, forget about 280 for a second here. 1 divided by cosine 26 is secant. So they wrote it as 280 secant 26 degrees. This was the correct answer they had. That's why you got to know all the 6 in functions. 280 secant 26. And where is it coming from? Because you know 1 divided by cosine 26 is same as secant 26. So they used this here. Does this make sense? Good? See how they tricked you guys? Now let me ask you another question. What do you think students, what common wrong answer the students had? What is the most common wrong answer they had? Anybody? It's okay to be wrong. One thing you guys need to understand in this class, this is not your school stuff. It's okay to be wrong. It's all about learning. The
311.
What's that?
311.
No, they didn't have any numbers. The multiple choice did not have any of those. The most common wrong answer was 280 cosine 26. So what happened was many students got to this point, but they did not know how to convert from this to this. So they just, instead of keeping it this way, for some reason they thought it should be 280 cosine 26. That was the most common wrong answer they had. So remember one thing, if you do your steps correctly and if you don't see your answer, there's a good chance ACT would have reformatted to something different. So carefully observe this. This is something you guys need to be very aware in ACT. Sounds good? Be very careful with this one. All right, any questions on these two problems? Any doubts, any questions?
Can you go over the simplification process for like the beta and alpha one?
This one?
No, the other one.
This one? Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
this step you mean, right? I think it was Alina, I think.
Yeah, this,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, let's do this one. So remember last time we talked about in the last whiteboard, when you have a fraction divided by a fraction, a divided by b divided by c divided by d, you can easily simplify by multiplying the top and the bottom, and they stay at the top, and then these two get multiplied, and they stay at the bottom. Before we do that, you are allowed to simplify. And this is a numerator here, and this is the numerator here. So this b and this b can be simplified. So that's what I did first. Then I'm left with square root a squared plus b squared divided by a squared divided by 1. Let's put it 1 here. Divided by square root of a squared plus b squared. Now, these two get multiplied and stay at the bottom, so a squared stays here. These two get multiplied, b is already cancelled. Square root of a squared plus b squared times square root of a squared plus b squared is a squared plus b squared because the square roots gets cancelled. That's why the answer is a squared plus b squared divided by a squared. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Good, good. You have to ask questions. Any questions? Any doubts? Okay. Let's go to the next one. Could you guys please open page 5, next page of your math packet? And I want you guys to focus on trigonometric inverse. Trigonometric inverse. Okay? Stay on that one, okay? Read that for 2 minutes. Trigonometric inverse. Okay, so I made a comment in that trigonometric inverse that an inverse is used to find an angle. That's all it does. As I told you, a trigonometric function is a ratio of two sides. That ratio of two sides can also help find what angle it is. So, question number 5. I want you guys to find angle theta given 17 inches and 15 inches. Find angle theta. Again, if you don't know, it's okay. It's okay. Remember that in the calculator you only have sine, cosine, and tangent. You don't have the remaining 3 because you do not need it to solve these type of problems. So always focus on the fundamental trigonometric functions. All right, let's get started here. Again, the first thing you have to do is to connect the function. So you have an angle, opposite side, and an adjacent. That's your tangent. So tangent theta is opposite or adjacent. You have to write this step. Don't try to skip steps. Even in ACT, even though it takes 3-4 seconds, it's worth it so you don't end up making silly mistakes. Now, how do you find an angle using inverse here? Now, the first step is theta, you're looking for angle, is equal to trigonometric inverse, tangent inverse. This now basically travels to this side as an inverse, 17 or 15. And how do you do this in your calculator? You want to do second tan, and you should get this. This is, and the parentheses is automatically opens up. So divide 17 divided by 15 and close the parentheses like this. And then hit enter. It's going to be in degrees. That's what we set it up. 48.57. So go with 48.6 degrees, something like that. There is another term for inverse, also called as arctan. So arctan or tan inverse, both are commonly used terms. So how do you find an angle? You write a trigonometric function and then inverse it using second whatever it is and get an angle. But remember, an inverse always gives an angle. This is the only thing an inverse does. So whenever you see an inverse, your answer should be an angle. Of course, one of them angle is 90 degrees, so you don't have to worry about it. So you're going to be left with these two. So an inverse always helps you find an angle. How many got this problem correct? 1, 2, 3, a lot of people. Okay. And if you've not studied this, no big deal. Doesn't mean it's hard. It's just that you have not seen it. But once you practice this, it's not hard at all. This is not a hard topic. You just need practice at the time. Any questions on this? Any questions? Any doubts? Okay. Question number 6. This is the question number 60 in ACT. Okay. All right. You have a right angle triangle here. This is the problem. Just because the problem looks big doesn't mean it's difficult. Take your time, try it. This is cotangent. This is cosine inverse c divided by square root of a squared plus c squared. The whole thing is squared. This is a triangle, reference triangle. Find the value of this. Go. Anybody has an answer? Reminder, it's question number 60. So they think it was a hard question. So anybody? Okay. Okay, listen to the step-by-step problem. So, the first thing you have to know in math is to always do the functions from the inside out. Always. So that means this is the function that is the most inside here. So this indicates an inverse. So you want to remember, an inverse always gives an angle. So there are three angles in a triangle. One of them is 90 degrees, so you never have to worry about it. So you have angle A or angle C. It says cosine inverse. And cosine is defined as adjacent over hypotenuse. So which angle has an adjacent side of C? That's angle A. So I'm just going to write this step so you can see this. Cosine A is adjacent or hypotenuse. So cosine inverse would be angle A So now you can see here, this entire function is nothing but angle A. So this entire thing is angle A. So cotangent A squared. So this entire thing has turned out to be angle A, because an inverse always gives an angle. Tangent A is defined as opposite or adjacent, A or C. So cotangent is flipped. So it'll be C divided by A squared, C squared divided by A squared. Again, the size of the problem should not overwhelm you, or you should not get worried in ACT. Oh my God, it looks a lot. But if you remember step by step to break it down, and always in math, you go inside out. Always. Doesn't matter whether it's trig or something else. So you want to start with this one. Inverse always gives an angle, and based on what side it was, I could guess what angle it is, and then I confirmed it here. Then cotangent angle A is C divided by A, and they square it, C squared over A squared. So you got to break it down into multiple steps. Even in ACT, I don't know about writing this step, but you still have to show these steps, because otherwise you cannot you'll make a lot of mistakes that way. Anybody got this? Anybody? Okay, one. Okay. That's pretty good. So, what I would recommend you guys need to do as part of your practice is to repeat all 6 questions we did, focusing on question number 2 and 6. 2 and 6 are the most important ones that include simplification. And again, if you have not studied this, doesn't mean it's difficult. It just takes a little practice. That's all it is. Aubrey will be here in a few minutes. You guys will have a few minutes break. Stay on this. Don't log off or anything like that. Welcome to New Horizons Spring ACT Prep class. And I'll see you guys next week. Aubrey will take over in the next few minutes. Again, we do not log off. Stay, take a quick restroom break, have a drink or whatever it is. Okay? See you guys next week. Bye-bye.